Hello everyone, welcome back all of you. In this session we are going to have discussion on high temperature measurement, and that we are going to call it as thermal radiation, because in the previous cases when we were talking about temperature measurement, so we had the look of devices like RTD, thermistor and thermocouple, but we have certain limitations over there because we cannot use those devices beyond an limit, right? So we have some kind of limitation over there, and whenever we are going to encounter temperatures above than those of the limit those devices can handle, so in that case we have to come up with some alternatives so that we can measure even high temperatures also, because RTD, thermistor and thermocouple, we have to use those devices in contact with the surface, then only we'll be able to get the temperature from there. But if we are having temperatures like in thousands and above than those, so in that case we cannot use those devices because we cannot take them in the contact with the surface. So in that case we have to make use of concept like thermal radiation. So by measuring the intensity of that particular radiation, we'll be able to understand that what is going to be the temperature of that particular body which is emitting the radiation. So to understand about the radiation that particular body is emitting out of it, we have two laws, Stephen Boltzmann's law and Newton's law of radiation. So we'll have the look of them one by one, and once we are done with the basic laws, we have to talk about the thermal radiation. And in the thermal radiation we have radiation pyrometers. So we are going to discuss from gate point of view two pyrometers. One is total radiation pyrometer and another one is going to be optical pyrometer. So what does Stephen Boltzmann's law says, that if we have one body at a temperature T and it is going to emit some radiation, right? So that radiation energy we are going to denote as Q, and that is going to be in watt. So every surface at temperature T emits certain energy to outside, and the emitted energy is called as radiation, and that particular radiation is going to be proportional to temperature power 4. So if that body is having temperature T and if it is emitting the radiation Q, so Q is going to be proportional to T power 4. And if we are removing the proportionality, we are going to get the constants like sigma E T power 4. Sigma is nothing but Stephen Boltzmann constant, and it is 5.67 into 10 power minus 8 watt per meter square Kelvin power 4. And units we can get from here. So Q is nothing but watt, and if we divide this particular temperature, we are going to get Kelvin power 4. And emissivity, because that this Q is nothing but watt per meter square, we are going to have the energy per unit area. So this is nothing but watt per meter square and divided by Kelvin power 4. And emissivity or absorptivity and reflectivity, so they are unitless quantities, so they are not going to have any unit. So and also we have to keep in mind that the temperature we are going to have the unit in the Kelvin, because while solving the problems student do like majority of student do problem here only because they take the temperature in the degree Celsius. So we have to be very careful that the temperature is given in the temperature is taken in the Kelvin, because intentionally the examiner will give you the temperature in degree Celsius and he will ask the output also, or the temperature another which you wish to know also in the degree Celsius only. But we have to make sure that first we have to convert the degree Celsius into temperature Kelvin, and the another temperature T2 we are going to get in Kelvin, that we have to convert back in the degree Celsius, and then only we have to give the answer in degree Celsius. So how we are going to get the questions in front of us, that the emissivity is going to be inversely proportional to 1 upon T power 4, because if we make use of this particular formula, we have emissivity is equal to Q upon sigma T power 4, and if Q and sigma are constant, we have emissivity something like 1 upon T power 4 proportionality. So it is given that at this particular temperature, let us say 60 degrees Celsius, we have emissivity as E1, and it has given that if the value of emissivity is changed to E2, so what is going to be the value of temperature, and intentionally he will ask the answer in the degree Celsius. So you have the relation in our mind that emissivity is inversely proportional to 1 upon T power 4. So if you take temperature directly in degree Celsius, the question will be wrong. So what you have to do, you have to first convert 60 degrees centigrade into Kelvin and make use of formula, and again the T2 you are going to get into Kelvin back. So again you have to convert that Kelvin back into degree Celsius. So then only you are going to get the correct answer. So you have to be very careful in that. and this is going to be the main formula which is going to come again and again in front of you in the case of total radiation pyrometer. So we'll have the look of it a little later. So the second law is nothing but Newton's law of radiation. So we know that in this case Stephen Boltzmann's law, we were talking about source, but here we are going to introduce one body, and we are going to talk in terms of that. So we have one source is having temperature T, so it is obvious from Stephen Boltzmann's law that it is going to emit some radiation. And if we have another body, so and if that radiation is incidenting on that particular body, so we are going to feel three phenomena. One is that that particular surface of the body is going to reflect some radiation, and that body is also going to absorb some radiation, and also some of the radiation will be transmitted. So these three phenomena we are going to feel on the surface of the body, and what we have to do, the total radiation energy incidented on the body is going to have three parts, that reflection, absorption and transmission. So the total energy will be summation of all these three energies, reflected, absorbed and transmitted. And if we take the ratio, if we divide by total energy both the sides, we are going to get 1 is equal to QR by Q2, Q absorbed by QT and Q transmitted by QT. And this ratio, reflected divided by total, and absorbed divided by total, and transmitted divided by total, they are going to be named as alpha, beta and gamma. Alpha is nothing but reflectivity, and beta is nothing but absorptivity, and gamma is nothing but transmittivity. So summation of alpha, beta and gamma for any body, it is going to be 1 always. So, and also in the case of black body, for example, if this particular body is a black body, so what we know about black body, that it is going to either absorb everything or it is going to only emit. So in the case of black body working in the absorption mode, so what is going to happen, that reflectivity is going to be 0, absorptivity is going to be 1, and transmittivity is going to be 0. So the values of alpha, beta and gamma will be 0, 1, 0 in the case of black body working in the absorption mode. And if the black body is working in the completely transmission mode, so what is going to happen in that case, alpha is 0, beta is 0 and gamma is going to be 1. So based on the Newton's law of thermal radiation, we have normal bodies or black bodies as well, we can understand. So for them we are going to have different values of alpha, beta and gamma. So this is going to be two fundamental laws whenever we are going to talk about thermal radiation, and based on that we are going to talk about two temperature measuring device, one of which is total radiation pyrometer, and another one which one we are going to discuss is going to be optical pyrometer. So let us have the look of both of them one by one. So having understood about the fundamental laws of radiation, let us have the idea about the radiation pyrometers. And also keep in mind why the name is pyrometer, because pyro is nothing but it is the related terms to the temperature. So that's why we call them as pyrometer, and we are making use of thermal radiation, so that's why they are called as radiation pyrometer. So in the case of radiation pyrometer, from gate point of view, we have to discuss total radiation pyrometer and optical pyrometer, and also their physical constructions are going to be little different, but here we are just going to have the look of their like understanding the working principle of them. So nothing in deeper, because from gate point of view only formulas are main important and little concept, but these are going to be the very important topic when you are going to appear for interview, because from interview point of view there is much to ask in them in a very deeper manner. So let us discuss from gate point of view. So we have one source over here, and if it is having one temperature T, so it is going to emit some radiation. So that radiation we are going to call it as Q, watt per meter square, and with the help of lens we are going to concentrate that particular radiation at one particular point. So instead of taking our thermopile, the series connection of thermocouple directly in touch with source, we are concentrating some part of the radiation at one particular point, and then we are going to measure that particular temperature, and in proportionality to that particular temperature we will be able to understand that what is going to be the temperature of the source. So if at this particular point, the point where we are going to concentrate all the thermal radiation with the help of lens, we are going to measure the temperature with the help of n thermocouples in series, and that combination we also know that it is going to be a thermopile. So E naught is going to be n times of sensitivity of thermocouple, temperature of hot point it is taken as T, and temperature of cold point I have taken as 0. So sensitivity into T, and N, why? Because there are n number of thermocouples. So this is going to be the output voltage formula, and we know that the temperature, how we are going to get that, because more the radiation from the source, we are going to get the higher value of temperature. So this is going to be the basic idea. So from gate point of view, from total radiation pyrometer, we have to keep only this particular formula in mind. This we already know from thermopile. Only this thing we have to focus mainly on. And also this thing I already told in the introduction part, or in the starting discussion part, that E1 upon E2 is going to be T2 power 4 upon T1 power 4. And the temperature, we have to be very careful that it is going to be in Kelvin, because the problems can be asked that when the temperature was being measured as T1 and the emissivity was something like some value, but by mistake we have taken the wrong value of emissivity. So what is going to be the error in the temperature? So what we have to do, we have to make use of this particular formula, and we will calculate T2. So that is going to be the real temperature, and the error will be the actual temperature minus the temperature we have measured. So that is going to be the error. So that kind of problems may come from total radiation pyrometer. And in the case of optical radiation pyrometer, again the concept we are going to discuss, because the actual physical appearance is going to be little different. So in the optical pyrometer, this is nothing but disappearing filament type. So we have again one source which is having some temperature, and it is going to emit some radiation, and on screen what we are going to do in this particular case, the human eye is going to get involved in this process. So what we are going to do, we are going to compare the radiation coming from source with the bulb. So the radiation of bulb. So what we are going to do, we are going to make use of the eye of human, and the eye is going to compare the radiation coming from source and the radiation from the bulb. So from that eye we are going to see that the filament of bulb, it is coming brighter one. So we are going to conclude that the source is going to have the more brightness than that of bulb. So the source is having the higher brightness. But in the second case, if the filament is going to disappear, in that case we are going to conclude that the temperature of the source which we are going to which we are measuring, and the temperature of our lamp is going to be equal. So the voltmeter or the current meter is going to be calibrated in terms of temperature. So from here we will be able to see that at which particular temperature the filament is going to disappear. So that temperature we are going to take it as approximate value of temperature. And in the another case, if the lamp is having more brightness and the source is having the less brightness, so in that case we are going to feel the filament as little darker one. So we know not need worry about the brighter one or darker one. We have to focus on whenever the filament is going to disappear, that particular temperature we are going to take as approximate temperature. And whenever we wish to know the true value of temperature, we have to make use of formula 1 upon T. So T is going to be the true value of temperature minus 1 upon TL. So the TL is temperature at which filament is going to disappear, is equal to lambda ln E divided by 14,300 micrometer per Kelvin. So micrometer Kelvin. So this formula we'll have to make use. So that's the basic idea about total radiation pyrometer and optical pyrometer, and also we had the discussion on the loss of thermal radiation. So that is all for this particular session. If you have any doubt, you are free to ask in the comment section. Thank you.